Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. I hope you're doing well. Let me introduce myself. My name is Muhammad Rasulullah Zuhardi Putra. My number is 0602052005. Today I will make a short video about explanation about uh, elements of poetry. So let's get right into it. So the, let's going to talk about the definition of poetry. So poetry is one of more four main genre of literary that's structured in a way in a creative way to help the reader understand and feel what the author wrote. So that's the explanation, that's the definition. So okay, we are going to discuss these five elements more deeply. That is, elements of poetry are stanza, rhymes, repetition, rhythm, imagery. And first off, we're going to start with stanza. Basically, stanza is number of group of lines in poetry. Each stanza serves a certain concept that connected to be a cohesive poetry. So it's like a paragraph in a story or verse in a song. And second is rhyme. Rhyme is a couple of words that have the same meaning, the same ending. I'm sorry. We can notice rhyme in a poetry just by looking at the last word on each lines. For example, we have I have tomorrow, sorrow, hollow, bow, and flow. And next is repetition. Repetition is words or line that repeated. It's really common we found repetition in poetry. It doesn't mean that the author were too lazy to make a different line, but repetition has function itself. That is to state a situation that important to the poetry itself. And fourth is rhythm. Rhythm is the pattern of sound. It's really important too for poetry because especially when we are going to perform the poetry. And then last but not least is imagery. Imagery is words that paint a picture in your mind. This give reader a sensory experience, so it's like we are in the author's imagination. Also, we can feel that sense even if the imagery don't actually happen or present in reader's situation. For example, uh, the sharp edge of the paper cut. I'm sorry, the sharp edge of the paper cut my fingers and made it sting. We don't feel that when we are reading that, but we know the feelings of that. So okay, move on to the next section. Let's talk about alliteration and assonance. This seems similar, but actually it's different. So alliteration works as the repetition of consonant sounds, while assonance works as the repetition of vowel sounds. For example, for alliteration, will Walter wait for wonderful Wendy? So it's the repetition of this sentence contain the repetition of words W. We have there are the five W, and for assonance, for example, hello wedding bells. So it's the sentence contains sounds of a, where a, yeah. So move on. So okay, let's analyze the topic that I'm choosing. So this is from Robert Frost, the infamous author of poetry, and the title is "Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening." So I'm going to give you some quick summary what this is about. So this poetry tells about a man stops to appreciate the beauty of the woods. He wants to stay longer but must leave to keep his promises. So let's break down this poetry by looking at the elements. So from this poetry there are four stanzas. It's really common. It's really clear. And then for rhymes, the author use uh, um, structured rhyme. So A B A, B B C B, C C D C, and the last all D. So it's structured, but so from the first stanza, there is it ended with no, do, and snow, and then from stanza 2 there is I'm sorry to say that the keyword near and year, and then from stanza 3 there is shake, mistake, flake, and then the last stanza there is deep, keep, sleep, and sleep. So it uses the same vowel. And then for repetition, I found on the last on the last two lines of this poetry, and it's repeating the line and miles to go before I sleep. And then from the imagery stand out, there are so many, but I'm going to describe the two of it. There is to watch his woods fill up with snow, and we senses with the sight of us, and we imagine what it feels like to uh, the woods or his hometown is filled up with a bunch of snow. We then he gives his harness bells a shake. It means he ring the bell, and we imagine that sound. And then last, uh, from the alliteration and assonance standpoint, and yeah, again there are so many of it, but I'll give you two examples. In this case, the line from his house is in the village though, so it's repeating the H sound. That is, I'm going to point that out. So that is H, H. So it's repeating the H sound again. And then for the example 2 of alliteration, the woods are lovely, dark, and deep. So it's repeating the D sound, D, dark from D from dark, and D from deep. Yeah. So okay, the last from assonance. And yeah, for the first example, again it's the same example as the alliteration, but I found this repeating again from the vowel sounds. So in this case, his from E short from his, and is, and in, and village. It's repeating again. And then the last example, yeah, from the E short again. So in this case, the E short came from his and Phil and with. So yeah, thank you everyone for that's the my explanation and analyze from of a certain poetry. And yeah, thank you for watching, and hope you're doing well again. So thanks you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.